Susie, just was having terrible trouble. She had dementia for 3.5 years, and at that point in the disease, she was unable to drive a car, walk down the street, have a normal conversation. And a nurse that I've been working with another company told me about a brain health talk, and I was reluctant because I needed to find a caregiver to take care of my wife. But the way she said Dave MacArthur, it was like she was either talking about Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. So I realized I better go to this, and so I did. And the only thing he talked about was the product in the middle, the isogenesis. I was introduced to the other products later on, and I was already with another company. I was very successful with that company. It made $5 million, and I was doing really well, but my wife wasn't, and so the thing that sold me was this video with Diane Sawyer, and it changed my life. I don't know if that'll play. Let me see if it will. I don't know if I can.
And now, eternal youth. Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
In the movie Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosome, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding, but the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size. As for humans, while it is just one factor, scientists now say by looking at our blood cells and measuring those telomeres, you can get a better idea of how well you'll age. The longer the telomere, the better the chances for a more graceful aging. But as for tinkering with...
So basically, what the Harvard study was, actually, they were mentored by the guy in the bottom left-hand corner, Dr. Bill Andrews. He was part of the Nobel Prize team, the 2009 Nobel Prize team, that was recognized for their telomere research. I wasn't on the Nobel Prize. That was Geiger, Zostak, and Blackburn, but he was part of that team. And what they were studying were telomeres of single-cell organisms, pond scum, basically. And Dr. Andrews thought, well, nobody's really interested in pond scum except scientists. And so he endeavored to study human telomeres and the enzyme that helps them repair, which is telomerase. And he discovered that in 1994. And Popular Science wrote a huge article on him and called him the man who would stop time. And basically what he did was he raised a bunch of money and began studying human skin cells and finding compounds that would induce telomerase in human skin cells. But what they found was that those 8 compounds they discovered were too toxic for the human body. And so they had $30 million raised and spent 10 years of research, testing 304,000 compounds, finding 8 that would induce telomerase, but they were at an impasse. And Peter Greenlaw knew about this, and he thought it was time for Bill Andrews to meet our founder, John Anderson. And of course, there were 3 founders, John Anderson and Jim and Kathy Coover. John Anderson is one of the most talented formulators that's ever lived. And these guys, he began sending botanical compounds to Bill Andrews to test to see if they induced telomerase. He sent 15, and 3 actually got what they call a hit. They induced telomerase in a minor way, and then he continued sending botanical compounds until they got some that were very strong as far as inducing telomerase. And that's really where isogenesis came from. It was originally called product B, and then they changed it to isogenics product B, and then they changed it to isogenesis, and then they did a couple of generations of isogenesis, and finally there's a new version, the NAD, Recharge NAD, and it's just an amazing story. And with these 2 guys working together, it's almost like Albert Einstein decided to work with Nikola Tesla. You know, it's 2 geniuses coming together and creating something that nobody had ever seen before, that really should change the world if we can get the word out. And so this is Dave MacArthur at our last meeting in Reno before before COVID. This is with Bill Andrews, and Bill mentored Dave on how to teach this. And Dave's part in this is that he can take a very complex scientific discussion and make it easy for a layman to understand. And we were doing regular meetings in Reno until COVID hit, and Bill was helping out with some of those. It was really cool. And of course, that Diane Sawyer video woke the world up to the idea of telomeres. And Time magazine wrote a bunch of articles, The Science of Living Longer. This baby could live to be 142 years old, and why your DNA is your destiny. So it's really amazing what happened with all of this. And then, of course, we came out with product B, and this video is one of a station that got a hold of the story and told Bill Andrews' story. It was really incredible. So let me see if I can get this to play. Maybe not. Darn it. I guess. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I've got another slide here. Let's see if this is it. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Imagine if all you had to do was take 2 pills twice a day to stay younger longer. But we got your attention now.
Scientists working with a company called Isogenics say that they have promising results. Mike Holfeld looked into a latest version of the Fountain of Youth.
To be clear, it's a supplement, not a prescription drug. People that take it say they feel better and younger. Now, the medical community is starting to take notice. Is anybody excited? 5,000 men and women packed a Las Vegas convention hall this past summer for the unveiling of a supplement that in theory makes old cells young again. The formula? Product B.
We're very excited about the results that we have.
Popular Science calls Dr. William Andrews the man who would stop time. The PhD in genetics work is based on the 2009 Nobel Prize-winning discovery of telomeres, the DNA on the tips of chromosomes that actually holds the key to why we get old.
You felt the symptoms of aging?
Absolutely. I was 40 and I felt like I was 50. Now I'm 45 and I feel like I'm 30.
Stacy Cartwright has been taking the formula for more than a year. She's convinced this blend of vitamins and plant extracts reversed her physical decline, from thinning hair to weight gain. Remember the telomeres? Scientists discovered they protect our chromosomes. Each time our cells divide, a small portion of those telomeres shorten.
When the telomere reaches a certain length, the cell dies. That's cell biology.
But the Nobel Prize winning research found the key to that cell biology: telomerase, an enzyme that essentially lengthens telomeres, keeps them alive longer. Dr. Andrews and his research team says product B activates that enzyme in all of our cells.
I don't think there is a fountain of youth.
But this is pretty close.
Oh yeah, it's improving quality of life.
Dr. Wateen admits he was skeptical at first, but guess what? He takes product B now too. I want to point.
So basically, one of the first big things that Dave discovered was Dennis and Sharon Allen knew Bob Sheraton, who was known as the Colonel. He's a boxing announcer. He's the only boxing announcer that's been inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. And he was having trouble with his heart. Went to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist said, "Your heart ejections are too low for me to do the operation you need to save your life." And so he basically was told to go home and get his affairs in order. And I'm not sure I can show this next slide. I don't think I can, but he had this transformation, and they were astounded. I mean, he ended up looking like his own grandson, just with the isogenesis.